How would you like to have a technique that you can use to have alpha functioning instantly at any time, even with your eyes open? How'd you like to have a technique that you can use to help you learn to say the right thing at the right time? Oh, can you imagine how that would help you to be more successful more often? You can learn to do those things and a lot more with the Silva Method's Three Fingers Technique. The Three Fingers Technique is a trigger mechanism that reminds you of something that you have programmed before. You program yourself that whenever you bring together the tips of the thumb and first two fingers of either hand, something that you programmed for will take place. For instance, let's say that you want to be able to relax better in tense situations. Sometimes when you get uptight and you don't want to and you want to relax, you can use the same basic programming system, programming formulas that you've learned before, and incorporate the Three Fingers Technique into your programming. Remember how we did that? First, you enter your level and state the problem. I get nervous when talking to my boss might be the problem. Next, you identify your goal. I want to remain relaxed and confident. Third, you make a plan. So you would bring the tips of the thumb and first two fingers together of either hand or both hands, and you would tell yourself mentally, whenever I'm talking to my boss and I feel tense and nervous, I'll bring together the tips of the first two fingers and thumb of either hand, as I am doing now. I'll take a deep breath. As I exhale, I will relax, and I will be relaxed and confident. Then, the next time you're talking with your boss and you get nervous or something, use the Three Fingers Technique. Take a deep breath and relax. And remember that final step. Act as if you are relaxed. Make believe if you have to. Pretend. Play like. Make it happen, and it will happen. Now let me explain to you exactly how to apply the Three Fingers Technique. You got to do it right, and there's a special way. You bring together the tips of the first two fingers and thumb of either hand. It's a circular kind of a motion. It's not the flat part of the hands where the fingers and thumbs are kind of sticking out in front, kind of parallel to each other, but it's a circular motion. We do this because a great deal of energy is radiated out of the tips of the fingers. The fingertips are kind of like valves radiating energy. So when you short-circuit this energy, when you recirculate the energy, you keep it from escaping. You're building it up within you. Then you can program with more energy. Now, you don't need to use any amount of pressure or anything like that. You just touch the fingertips together, the thumb and the tips of the first two fingers. In the conditioning cycle, we will program that by bringing together the tips of the first two fingers and thumb of either hand, this causes your mind to adjust to a deeper level of awareness for stronger programming. Stronger programming of information results in easier recall, producing a better memory. Then we'll program two ways that you can use the Three Fingers Technique to program yourself to remember information better. And we will also go on to program the test-taking technique, which uses 3 steps, including ESP, to help you get the answer that you need when you need it. Here's how it goes. To read a lesson, let's say you're going to study a lesson. Perhaps you're in school and need to study a lesson. Perhaps you're not in school, but you want to improve yourself on your job or in your career. Or you want to do something special like learning to fly. There's so many times that you need to learn information. So, when you need to learn something, you're going to read a lesson. Enter level 1 with the use of the 3-to-1 method. Tell yourself mentally that you're going to count from 1 to 3. And at the count of 3, you will open your eyes and read the lesson. Mention the lesson title and subject. And add in there, noises will not distract me, but will help me to concentrate. I will have superior concentration and understanding. Count from 1 to 3, open your eyes and read the lesson. Now when you have read the lesson, once again, enter level 1 with the 3-to-1 method. Tell yourself mentally, I will recall the lesson I have just read. Mention the title and subject. Anytime in the future with the use of the 3 Fingers Technique. Now the result of that is that later when you come back and you need to remember and you put your 3 fingers together, it will feel like you just finished studying that lesson a short time ago. You do need to make impressions when you are studying. Remember what we talked about, memory being easier with visualization. So when you're reading, visualize what it is that you're reading. If you're reading a history lesson, visualize it. If you're reading about how to navigate an airplane, picture yourself doing that. Picture the things that you would do. Even courses that don't deal too much with visual things, like maybe bookkeeping or accounting. Visualize that. When they talk about a profit and loss statement, it has to have certain elements on it, your assets, your income, your liabilities, and so forth. You can picture what a profit and loss statement looks like. Make mental pictures, make a strong impression, so that after you've finished reading the lesson, you will remember most of what you read. Then later, when you come back and use the three fingers technique, you'll remember it as well as you did after you had finished the lesson. Now, to hear a lecture, it's a little bit different procedure. To hear a lecture, enter level 1 with the 3-to-1 method, and tell yourself mentally that you're going to hear a lecture. Mention the title, subject, and lecturer's name. Tell yourself that you're going to use the three fingers technique. Keep your eyes open during the lecture. Tell yourself that noises will not distract you, but will help you to concentrate, that you will have superior concentration and understanding, and that you will recall the lecture, mention the title, subject, and lecturer's name, anytime in the future with the use of the three fingers technique. Now, it's the same way. Make strong impressions while you're hearing the lecture. What do you remember after the lecture's over with? Or whatever somebody is telling you. Sometimes somebody's simply giving you instructions on how to do something. You can do the same thing as say, later today I'll be getting instructions on how to perform a new procedure. So you can program yourself in the same way with the three fingers technique. Now you notice that for reading, you prepare yourself before, you program yourself before you begin to read, because you're going to open your eyes and focus, which is going to bring you back to beta. Focusing your eyes requires beta frequency, remember. So you have to prepare yourself ahead of time. You have to sandwich in what you're going to get. Do the before, the pre, and then the after, the post programming. Pre and post programming, before and after. I'm going to read the lesson. You mentioned the subject name, the title, whatever. It's like you're classifying it, like you're indexing it so that you can get back to it later when you need to find that information. Then you come out of your level and you read the lesson. After you've read the lesson, enter your level again and strengthen the programming. The lesson I have read. If I need to recall it anytime in the future, this lesson, the title, the subject, all I need to do is the three fingers technique. And you put your three fingers together. This is all I need to do. You tell yourself this at level. Follow the formula the way it's written. So you have two different ways of programming. To read a lesson, program before and again after you've read the lesson. Sandwich the study part in the middle because you're focusing your eyes and concentrating. To listen to a lecture, you don't have to keep your eyes focused all the time. You can defocus. So do it all in one session. Use one hand or the other, all during the lecture, to use the three fingers technique and to lock it in. Okay? Two different formulas depending on the set of circumstances that you're going to be using. For test taking with the three fingers technique, follow the three-cycle method. First, read your test questions the way you always do. This is what we'll be programming in the conditioning cycle. Read your test questions the way you always do, but do not stay too long on any of them. If you have a ready answer, put it down. If not, skip that question and move to the next one. Second, use the three fingers technique. Do as in the first cycle, but stay a little longer on the unanswered question. When an answer comes, put it down. If not, skip that question, move to the next one. Third, use the three fingers technique. Read the unanswered question, and if still no answer comes, close your eyes, turn them slightly upward, visualize or imagine your professor on your mental screen, and ask your professor for the answer. Then clear your mind and start thinking again to figure out the answer. The answer that comes is your professor's. Write it down. Do not turn in a blank paper. Now let me back up here and make a couple of comments on this formula, these formulas here, and why Mr. Silva put them in. Most people who have trouble on a test have trouble with it because they get too tense, they get uptight, they're all stressed out, and that blocks memory. Makes it difficult to use your mind when you're tense, you're at a high beta. We need to relax, it's easier to do. So odds are you probably know half the answers on most any test. So you're pretty close to passing it right off the bat. So go through, don't get hung up on a question you don't know. Don't worry about that. Skip it. Just go down. If you've got an answer, if there's an answer ready on the tip of your tongue, put it down. If not, skip it. Answer all the ones that you can. Accumulate as many points on that test as you can with all the easy questions. Then back up, go back to the beginning again, and go down until the first question that you weren't sure of and you skipped it. Now, you still don't have an answer? Okay, we start pulling out our secret weapons. You put your three fingers together, and you think about it again using the three fingers technique. Where did I read this? Where did I study it? What will come back to me? Relax yourself. Have that alpha functioning. Remember, bringing together the tips of the thumb and first two finger of either hand causes your mind to adjust to a deeper level of awareness for stronger programming. Stronger programming of information results in easier recall, producing a better memory. Remember, that's what we program there. So just doing that, you're relaxing into the alpha level, and your memory is automatically improved. So you want to do that. You go back, and most of the questions that you skip, you'll be able to answer that way. Now you've already got your passing grade. Now you go back in the third cycle, and we use ESP. If you've been in a classroom studying with a professor, you have very close rapport with that teacher, with that professor. Very close rapport. You're within the aura range of each other, the energy that the body radiates. There's electrical energy coming off the brain that can be measured with an EEG, an electroencephalograph. There's other energies, heat and various other kinds of energy radiating out from our bodies. That energy radiation extends out about 25 feet. So if you and your teacher are within 25 feet of each other, your auras are completely overlapped. So it makes it much easier to sense information. So what you do is you want to detect information that your professor has that you need. We've heard students come back telling stories about questions that were about subject matter that was covered on a day when they missed the class. They had not been taught this subject matter, and yet somehow they were able to detect the information and come up with the right answer. Wow, that gets pretty exciting, doesn't it? In fact, on the final tape, on tape 12, Mr. Silva even speaks about an early experiment they did way back early in 1966, before he began teaching the class publicly to people. At a college, they taught students the three fingers technique. They taught them the course. They gave them a test that they had not studied for. They had never covered the subject matter, and the students passed the test. They got some educators really upset. You're going to ruin the educational system. What are we going to be able to do? Well, of course, these are additional tools to allow us to function even better. Please trust me here. This is not a substitute for study. You still need to study. This is an addition to, so that we can do even better. The world's getting more competitive all the time. We need everything that we can get. So you put your three fingers together, you recall that feeling of being at level, you turn your eyes upward, and you ask your professor for the answer. Then clear your mind. Clear your mind. What does that mean, to clear your mind? Let me explain that. It's like, to start with, you're in a transmitting mode. You are sending information. You are sending out the information. I need the answer. Then you want to reverse that. You want to come back in a receiving mode. So what you have to do is it's like unplug from transmit. So here's how you do it. You ask the question. To clear your mind, think about an entirely different topic, totally different subject matter. Okay, later this afternoon I have to remember to stop by the store and pick up some milk. Okay, you're thinking about something entirely different. That clears your mind. Then you're able to go back again, the other direction, to go back and pose the question again. Say, okay, my question was about such and such, and the answer is, and you're in the receive mode now, so you expect to receive an answer. Then it says in the formula, what does it say? Start thinking again to figure out the answer. This is not a passive course here that you're learning. These are not passive techniques. We have changed the meaning. Mr. Silva changed the meaning of the letters ESP. Originally, they were coined to mean extrasensory perception. Well, we know now that the mental senses are not extra senses. In fact, they came before the physical senses, we think. The physical ones are probably the extra ones. The mental senses were always there. We think that's the primary sense. So he calls it effective sensory projection. We do not sit back and wait for something to come to us. We do not sit back and wait for the answer to the test question to come to us. We project and get it. Start thinking again to figure out the answer. The answer that comes is your professor's. That means whatever you think about, that's your professor's answer. So you don't just sit back and wait. Think about it. Write it down. Do not turn in a blank paper. Now this technique, like all the others that we have in the course, has applications far beyond the examples that are given here. What you're really doing is learning how to say the right thing at the right time, how to get the right answer when you need it. When you're going to a meeting, use your three fingers technique to help you remember what you need to remember. Pre-program yourself with it to respond in the most appropriate and beneficial manner. If you get into a disagreement or an argument with a family member or on the job, use your three fingers technique to help you remain calm, to understand what the real problem is, to take the most appropriate action so that everyone will be satisfied. You can program yourself that you will not react in anger, but you will respond with wisdom and good judgment. Isn't that better? Now, it's always best if you pre-program for the specific situation. For instance, if you get into arguments from time to time, if you kind of lose your temper, if you're reacting rather than responding, then enter your level and analyze the problem. You'll get more ideas at your level than you will at beta. So analyze the problem. Perhaps you will understand the real reason that's causing the arguments. Perhaps a little insecurity that you have. This alone may be enough to solve the problem. If not, or if you're concerned, you want to be sure, then what you want to do is to pre-program yourself with the three fingers technique so that you will respond the way that you desire. Many Silva Method lecturers, especially when first starting out, program themselves that they'll say the right thing at the right time when presenting the course, when doing their lecturing. We program to serve the needs of the people in the class. We program to be able to answer questions in a way that helps the people who ask them, that provides the greatest benefit for the class. Well, you get the idea about how you can use the technique. In test taking, step 3, you learn how to use ESP to detect information so that you can get a higher grade on a test. With practice, you can learn how to detect information in a similar manner when you're talking with someone, even with your eyes open. Remember that whenever you focus your eyes, or whenever you attempt to focus your eyes, your brain adjusts to beta. If you want to be an alpha with your eyes open, you must defocus them. Sort of like a daydreaming state. You're aware of what's going on around you, but you're not focused on anything. This takes some practice. Remember to practice the fundamentals first. Get the techniques working the way you're being taught. Practice the memory pegs to improve your visualization and imagination. Practice entering your level 3 times a day so that you become so familiar with being at alpha that it will be easy for you to be at alpha anytime, even when you're active and have your eyes open. Practice. It all comes with practice. This is an outstanding technique. Mr. Silva altered it for his son Tony when Tony was drafted in order to go to Vietnam during the Vietnam War. Mr. Silva explains that he felt it would be very difficult to keep the tips of your 3 fingers together when you're in a fighting situation, like when you're firing a rifle. You know, if you make a fist, you don't have your fingertips together. So he programmed Tony in a different way. What he did was to have Tony press the little finger of his hand into the palm of his hand. This happens naturally when you make a fist. It's also an easy position when you're handling a rifle. Your forefingers on the trigger, and you can hold the tip of your little finger against the palm of your hand. He pre-programmed that whenever Tony held the little finger of either hand against the palm of that hand, he would be more intuitive and aware of any dangerous situation. How did the technique work? It worked great. Tony told a story about coming to a fork in the road and selecting one path over another and learning later that there were Viet Cong soldiers waiting to ambush them on the path that they avoided. This happened frequently during the year that he was in Vietnam. In fact, Mr. Silva not only programmed Tony, he programmed about 30 other young men from Laredo along with Tony. They were all sent to the same area. I was told by someone who was there at the time that at the same time that Tony and these young men from Laredo went into Vietnam, the area that they were sent to had such a bad reputation that when new soldiers arrived, the paperwork was prepared for their Purple Hearts when they got there. Only the date was left blank. But all of the young men from Laredo, using their little finger in the palm of the hand technique, came home safely. Well, after they got back to Laredo, whenever any of these young men would see Mr. Silva on the street, they'd wave to him with the little finger folded into the palm of their hand. In fact, the 3 fingers technique has become our Silva Method salute. Graduates all over the world may speak different languages, but they all understand the 3 finger salute. So whenever you see somebody wave to you with their 3 fingers together, wave back the same way. You know they're a Silva Method graduate. Now this next conditioning cycle is relatively short. It's only about 15 minutes. When we get to the impression of new material, I will ask you to bring together the tips of the thumb and first 2 fingers of either hand so we can program the technique. Now when you are ready, make yourself comfortable and let's program the 3 fingers exercise is for the Silva Method 3 fingers technique. Now prepare for this mind training exercise by finding a comfortable position. We will start this exercise with the 3-to-1 method. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 3 times. Take another deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 2 3 times. Take another deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 1 3 times. You are now at level 1, the basic plane level that you are learning to use for a purpose. Any purpose you desire. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I'm going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you will feel yourself going deeper. You will enter a deeper, healthier level of mind. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. You may enter a deeper, healthier level of mind by simply relaxing your eyelids. Relax your eyelids. Feel how relaxed they are. Allow this feeling of relaxation to flow slowly downward throughout your body, all the way down to your toes. It is a wonderful feeling to be deeply relaxed, a very healthy state of being. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. At that moment, you will project yourself mentally to your ideal place of relaxation. I will then stop talking to you, and when you next hear my voice, 1 hour of time will have elapsed at this level of mind. My voice will not startle you. You will take a deep breath, relax, and go deeper. 1, 2, 3. Project yourself mentally to your ideal place of relaxation until you hear my voice again. Relax. Relax. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax and go deeper. You will continue to listen to my voice. You will continue to follow the instructions at this level of the mind and any other level, including the outer conscious level. This is for your benefit. You desire it, and it is so. Whenever you mentally or verbally mention the word relax, all unnecessary movements and activities of your body, brain, and mind will cease immediately, and you will become completely passive and relaxed, physically and mentally. I may bring you out of this level or a deeper level than this by counting to you from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, your eyes will open, you will be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health. The difference between genius mentality and lay mentality is that geniuses use more of their minds and use them in a special manner. You are now learning to use more of your mind and to use it in a special manner. The following are beneficial statements that you may occasionally repeat while at these levels of the mind. Repeat mentally after me. My increasing mental faculties are for serving humanity better. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better and better. Positive thoughts bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I have full control and complete dominion over my sensing faculties at this level of the mind and any other level, including the outer conscious level. And this is so. The following preventive statements are for your better health. Keep in mind that from now on, I will occasionally be speaking in your place. I will never learn to develop, physically or mentally, mental disorders, nor psychosomatic or functional ailments or diseases. I will never learn to develop, physically or mentally, a dependence on drugs or alcohol. Negative thoughts and negative suggestions have no influence over me at any level of the mind. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body and mind. Mental projection statements for success. I am now learning to attune my intelligence by developing my sensing faculties and to project them to any problem area so as to become aware of any abnormalities if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. I am now learning to apply corrective measures and to correct any abnormality I detect. Negative thoughts and negative suggestions have no influence over me at any level of the mind. We will now impress information for your benefit. Programming a formula-type technique, the Three Fingers Technique. At this time, bring together the tips of the first two fingers and thumb of either hand. By bringing together the tips of the first two fingers and thumb of either hand, your mind adjusts to a deeper level of awareness for stronger programming. Stronger programming of information results in easier recall, producing a better memory. To read a lesson, enter level 1 with the use of the 3-to-1 method. Tell yourself mentally that you are going to count from 1 to 3, and at the count of 3, you will open your eyes and read the lesson. Mention the lesson title and subject. Add, noises will not distract me, but will help me to concentrate. I will have superior concentration and understanding. Count from 1 to 3, open your eyes, and read the lesson. When you have read the lesson, once again enter level 1 with the 3-to-1 method. Tell yourself mentally, I will recall the lesson I have just read. Mention the title and the subject. Anytime in the future, with the use of the 3 fingers technique. To hear a lecture, enter level 1 with the 3-to-1 method and tell yourself mentally that you are going to hear a lecture, and mention the title, the subject, and the lecturer's name. Tell yourself that you're going to use the three fingers technique. Keep your eyes open during the lecture. Tell yourself that noises will not distract you, but will help you to concentrate, that you will have superior concentration and understanding, and that you will recall the lecture, mention the title, subject, and lecturer's name, any time in the future with the use of the three fingers technique. For test taking with the three fingers technique, follow the three-cycle method. First, read your test questions the way you always do, but do not stay too long on any of them. If you have a ready answer, put it down. If not, skip that question and move to the next one. Second, use the three fingers technique and do as in the first cycle, but stay a little longer on the unanswered question. When an answer comes, put it down. If not, skip that question and move to the next one. Third, use the three fingers technique, read the unanswered question, and if still no answer comes, close your eyes, turn them slightly upward, visualize or imagine your professor on your mental screen, and ask your professor for the answer. Then clear your mind and start thinking again to figure out the answer. The answer that comes is your professor's. Write it down. Do not turn in a blank paper. In the next session, we will program the Mirror of the Mind, a formula-type technique that you can use for problem solving. Later, we will program the hand levitation method for entering deep levels of mind. We will program glove anesthesia for learning the control of physiological pain and, in many cases, control of bleeding and hemorrhaging. Every time you function at these levels of the mind, you will receive beneficial effects physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help yourself physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help your loved ones physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help any human being who needs help physically and mentally. You will never use these levels of the mind to harm any human being. If this be your intention, you will not be able to function within these levels of the mind. You will always use these levels of the mind in a constructive, creative manner, all that is good, honest, pure, clean, and positive, and this is so. You will continue to strive to take part in constructive and creative activities to make this a better world to live in, so that when we move on, we shall have left behind a better world for those who follow. You will consider the whole of humanity, depending on their ages, as fathers or mothers, brothers or sisters, sons or daughters. You are a superior human being. You have greater understanding, compassion, and patience with others. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At that moment, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. You will have no ill effects whatsoever in your head, no headache, no ill effects whatsoever in your hearing, no buzzing in your ears, no ill effects whatsoever in your vision and eyesight. Vision, eyesight, and hearing improve every time you function at these levels of mind. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3, at the count of 5, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before, feeling the way you feel when you have slept the right amount of revitalizing, refreshing, relaxing, healthy, wonderful sleep. 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. This concludes the three fingers technique for the Silva method. Thank you.